Hej, hej! Witam was bardzo serdecznie w kontynuacji Sherlocka Holmesa, Chapter 1. Będziemy iść dalej z fabułą. Ruszamy z fabułą. W ogóle chciałam sprawdzić. Takiego. Więc sobie ruszymy z poboczną misją pierw. Nie musimy udawać policjanta. Moja ciekawość budziły plotki, jakby Boris Bello właśnie słynny zbrojownik, przedsiębiorczy, zajmuje się sprawami ochrony domowej. Został aresztowany. Znajduje się on w dość osobliwej sytuacji. Mężczyzna zidentyfikowano jako Nicoletti. Został znaleziony martwy w jednej z szaf pancernych w sklepie Basilio. Basilio twierdzi, że jest niewinny, ale dowody wskazują wręcz przeciwnie. Znajduje się on w areszcie na komisariacie policji. Chodź. Gra mi nie odpowiada. Chodź. Mały problem. Bo gra się wyłączyła. Ale nie wiem z jakiego powodu. Trudno. Nie chcę, żeby mnie przeszło. Czyli idziemy na komisariat policji. Idziemy policjantem. Minamy policjanta? Minamy. Mamy taką fajną czapkę. To jak się przyjrzeć w garderobie, to jest ta czapka. Ta czapka. Ale ta jest lepsza. Mamy lepszego munduru policyjnego. Jak chce się zmienić. Tutaj nie ma nic, co by wskazywało, że jesteś policjantem bardziej. Jeszcze. Tutaj ten wąs jest dobry. Bo to inne nam zdejmuje. Aj. Które nawet nam odejmują. Ale nie ma różnicy. To w ogóle nie wpływa. Tego, że są w stroje. On sprzedawca lodów. On marynarz. On... On z Ukrainy. I długi kocham większy jak mówię oceanów. Dobrze, to idziemy. No tu jest dużo listy podejrzanych. To są jakieś realne twarze, które kiedyś były. Się nie zdziwię. Wygląda bardziej realnie, niż by się wydawało. No ale w każdym razie mieliśmy to musimy dowiedzieć. Ale nie wiem, jak ten gość wygląda. Ale mamy go przesłuchać. To jest w jakiejś celi. Tu? Tu jest. O, to jest. Kim jestem tym?
Excuse me, but are you Mr. Capello? My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm hoping you could spare a moment to talk.
Manners, what a pleasant surprise. Most of your colleagues have lacked even the simplest of common courtesies.
Mam
You're a
honor jako...
suspect, sir, but not yet a criminal. I shan't treat you as such. Your case is refreshingly unusual, and I wish to get to the bottom of it.
Manners and enthusiasm. Huh. May you go far, young man. What can I help you with?
Przyjrzyjmy się mu. Koncentrowane spojrzenie. Bo jak my mamy, jak my się tak przyglądamy mu. Bierze i modne ubrania. Ciasto leży na palcu. Rączka. Ale buty już nie wyglądają tak ładnie. O! Posinieczona ręka. Niedawno odniesiono obrażenie. Metodyczne, impulsywne. Mężczyzna, który Belis Kopel to lokalny przedsiębiorca, właściciel słynnej zbrojowni Copello, firmy zajmującej się sprzedażą sejfów, zamków, drzwi, szaf pancernych i środków ochrony domowej na kordonie. Obecnie jest on przetrzymywany w jednej z cel w areszcie na komisariacie policji jako główny podejrzany w sprawie zamordowania Nicole Dediego. Ma około 40 lat. To metodyczny mężczyzna, który interesy i te zasady przykłada ponad wszystko. Jest spokojny i skoncentrowany pomimo tego, że przebywa w areszcie. Ma na rękach siniaki. Prawdopodobnie musiał się niedawno bronić. Życie rodzinne ma dla niego dużą wartość. Impulsywne. Ma smykałkę do linek i wszystkiego, co modne. Trzyma pod kontrolą kiepiące emocje podczas pobytu na komisariacie, ale można przyjrzeć tendencje do agresywnych zachowań. Ma na ręku siniaka, może być ono wynikiem bójki. Życie rodziny ma dla niego dużą wartość. I nie wiem. Wykłada ponad wszystko. Bójka bronić. Dajmy, że to. Niech tak będzie.
You are surprisingly composed for a man accused of murder. Not so easily shaken, I take it.
Life is full of surprises. You'd be astonished how many deals go sour due to a force majeure. One becomes skilled at adapting. I am confident this will all be set straight. Until then, I will endure.
Much how you endure that injured hand. Those bruises look painful, but you seem barely aware of it. Were you attacked?
No, a minor accident, nothing more. My heady days as a man out to prove his valor are far behind me. I now know that to succeed in life, one must stay calm and plan ahead. The world will turn your way eventually. And if it does not, then one must persuade it so.
Please, tell me how you ended up in this situation.
Well, this morning some clients arrived to finalize their purchase of a Capello modular safe. But when we opened the door, out tumbled a dead man.
And I take it this wasn't normal.
No, I normally keep my corpses in the wardrobe. Please, young man, spare me your wit. The rest of the day was a blur. I recognized the victim, and it seemed so did the police. That was enough to make me the main suspect.
Who sent for the authorities?
No one. As it happens, we had a break-in last night. Nothing was stolen, but for insurance purposes, the report had to be made. So, police officers just happened to be on the premises when we discovered the body in the safe.
Kim byli
You
klienci?
mentioned you were showing your wares to some prospective buyers when the safe was opened. Who were they?
Clerks from the bank. They inspected the safe from top to bottom yesterday. I assumed the sale was just a formality at that point.
And the safe was closed?
It's usually open, but it locks automatically when the door swings closed. That's another marvelous Capello invention.
A coffin that locks itself. Marvelous indeed. Help me grasp your movements yesterday. What time did you meet the customers from the bank, and did you have any other appointments?
Yesterday, the bank clerks arrived at 10 a.m. Afterwards, I was alone in the office until my wife Augusta came in at 3 p.m. I left for home at 6:30 p.m.
And what about this morning?
Our meeting for the demonstration was set for 9 a.m. I arrived about half an hour prior in order to prepare.
I have one final inquiry. Do you recall the time at which the safe door was closed?
Young man, I may just as well ask you when you closed your cigar case. I have opened our safes a dozen times a day for a dozen years. I do not recall.
You say you became the suspect when the police identified the victim. Is there history between you?
Surely you jest. That man and I have never met and never would, unless he became the first deity in history to use our products.
Some sort of family feud? I'm afraid I'm not familiar.
You must be new to Godona. It's an old tale. Back in Italy, generations ago, the deities tried to ruin our family business. They nearly succeeded. The Capellos rightfully struck back, but there has been bad blood ever since.
And does that blood flow in you too?
I told you, sir, it's an old story, or it was. I fear this horrible event portends worse to come. My wife may be in danger as we speak.
I'd like to inquire about the burglary.
I'm not sure I see the connection, but if you wish to know more, talk to Billy Lloyd, the night watchman. He scared off the thief.
Was it also Billy that discovered the burglar?
No, my wife did. She had stayed late yesterday. Poor Augusta. At least she's safer with the police than at home alone.
Well, Mr. Capello, I think that's all I need from you at present. Where can I find your office?
Here, take my card. Billy should be on site to assist with the investigation. And please, sir, would you check on my wife before you depart?
Thank you. I will endeavour to speak with her before I leave the station.
Please, treat her gently. Women lack our resilience when it comes to ordeals like this. I shall eagerly await your return. After all, there's little else I can do.
Okej. Tu jest pusto. Tam już nie mogę. Przejść dalej już tam nie mogę. Idziemy na górę. Tak naprawdę to myślałam, że gdzieś
Mrs.
tu.
Capello, please wait in the office. The inspector will be here soon.
Kogo nie ma. Ja nie będę sprawdzać reszty, bo to bez sensu.
You must be the inspector.
Would you be Augusta Capello?
Must I really repeat myself to every baby-faced man in uniform that strides in?
Forgive me, I am not the inspector, but I am working on your husband's case.
Then I have nothing to say to you. Come back with the inspector in charge so that we may dispense with the endless repetition.
Ale wygląda. Augusta Kolendona oskarżonego byli sobie wygląda najmniej niż 30 lat. Kiedyś poświęcała się karierze muzycznej. Obecnie pracuje w przedsiębiorstwie męża. Bawi się obrączką z powodu nerwowego usposobienia. Niedawno złożyła wydaje się być przyjemna do jego działania. Bawi się obrączką z powodu dużego stresu. Niedawno zażyła fundemu, ale wydaje się nie być przyzwyczajona do jego działania. Liste oczy. Palce statyczne. Pinka. Hej, odynek. Co to za skanowanie CC się odbywało? Jakiego? To były broszki. Ja nie wiem, czy ona się uzależy, czy ona bierze to regularnie, czy nie. To jest ważna rzecz. Jakieś prochy jej podali i nie wiadomo, czy jest przyzwyczajona do nich, czy nie. Dałbym opcję numer 1. Pod wpływem emocji? Dobra. Niech tak będzie.
Whilst I prefer German composers, the harp solo from Lucia di Lammermoor stands out as one of Donizetti's finest contributions to the form. I'm sure Basilio thought the same.
He did. How? Did he tell you how we met?
Oh, there was no need. It is trivial to observe how much you value your memories of playing harp in the orchestra, and even an amateur Italian harpist would be familiar with Donizetti's finest work.
Yes. Music is a balm in these uncertain times. It is nice to meet another who appreciates it.
Much as I appreciate the truth. Please, Mrs. Capello, let me help you and your husband.
I am not unappreciative, sir, but I'm afraid I presently lack the strength.
Proszę mi
Basilio tells
opowiedzieć
me
o
you were present
włamaniu.
during the burglary yesterday. What can you tell me about it?
Oh, it gave me such a fright. I fainted, fell to the floor. I wish I could help you, but I'm just utterly useless. Please, I want to rest before the inspector arrives.
Were you familiar with the deceased man found in the safe?
No, I did not know him, nor can I conceive
Ten
of him.
Sherlock,
Poor
jakiś
soul,
taki
and
mało Sherlockowy. Twarzy jakiś taki Don Tato. No bo on ma wąsa założonego, żeby wyglądał jak policjant.
You've had quite the day, Mrs. Capello. I shall leave you be. If I have further questions, I may visit again later.
On normalnie... Ale nie mogę się teraz przebrać.
please let me rest.
May I ask you something?
I don't speak to coppers. That's me creed.
Dun, dun, dun.
Would you like to report a crime?
Tak, przestępstwo. Groźne. Mogę z kimś tu pogadać?
Help me, please. Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others. Can you satisfy my curiosity? Unfortunately, my casebook is empty on this.
Time to check your who, what, and what, Sherry. Who are you? Asking about what and dressed as what.
Can I ask you a question? Unfortunately, my casebook is empty on this.
I nie mam gadać. To z nim znowu sobie pogadam.
What a long day.
Idziemy do kijcia.
Have you learned anything?
Myślę nie. Mi nie pomożesz? Nie. Nikt mi nie chce pomóc.
Do you know anything about this? Unfortunately, my casebook is empty on this.
Mój też notatnik nie zbiera informacji na ten temat. Coś mi tu nie pasuje.
May I ask for your assistance? Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
No już nie chce z nami gadać. A ja...
Please let me rest.
mi odpoczął. Nie dam odpocząć. Aha, to musimy się gdzieś udać. To takie ten... Tam czytałam. Znowu ulice mi każą zapamiętywać i znajdywać na mapie. Dobra. I idziemy. Adres Świętego Klementa. Na wschód. Chyba w tą stronę. Mamy zbrojownię.
Hello there.
Ill-fitting pants, wonky nose, and hair that appears to have been cut by your own hand. You must be Billy Lloyd.
Oh, it's you. I knew you'd come.
You did?
You're Mirko Gallia, the best investigative journalist on Cordona. I'm a fan of your work.
Alas, you're mistaken. The name is Sherlock Holmes, and your employer...
Oh, of course. Discretion. I'm sorry. I doubt the policeman upstairs heard me, though, so your secret is safe with me, Sherlock.
Mr. Capello told me you were present during the burglary and scared the criminal off the property.
Yeah, you should have seen it. As soon as the burglars saw me, they went white as death. Ran out the back door of the office. I heard a thud and cat shrieks, so I think they went over the railing and into the bushes out back. Clearly, my reputation precedes me. Mr. Capello was so proud.
You regard, but you didn't give chase.
Well, by the time I made it outside, they were miles away. So I went back to help Mrs. Capello. That kind of gentlemanly courtesy is why I'm so well regarded round these parts.
What did
Proszę
the thief
opisać
look like?
włamanie.
Shorter than me, mid-20s, a huge scar across the right cheek going from the eye. Short hair. She didn't look like a ghost. Too corporeal.
Hold on. She? You didn't think to mention the burglar was a woman?
Why did you assume it was a man? It's the 19th century, sir. Ambitious young women are out there pursuing a career, and I, for one, encourage it.
Yes, yes, spare me the sermon.
Co
When
się
did the
stało?
burglary happen?
Oh, after 10 in the evening. I was just talking to Mrs. Capello.
Does she normally work this late?
No, it's the first time it happened. Usually I'm alone at night. I was explaining to Mrs. Capello how drinking water every 3 hours can help with digestion, when she excused herself and went back upstairs. Then there was a scream, and I ran up to the office, and...
I know what happened next, thank you. What about last evening? Do you have any more details about the break-in?
Of course. I write down everything that happens during my watch. Take a look.
Fastidious in its mundanity, but I will make of it what I can. I must go and inspect the crime scene. If I have further questions, Mr. Lloyd, I will find you.
Oh, don't worry. I won't be able to keep away.
Right.
The best on the market. You can wallop them, you can burn them. Nothing will work.
I bet he tested that himself.
Wspomnienie o kombinacji do sejfu. Panie Lloyd, kombinacja do wszystkich sejfów w biurze to 00 00 13 05 00. Proszę na przyszłość powstrzymać się przed kupowaniem spodni w naszych produktach, gdyż w przeciwnym razie będziemy zmuszeni do zmiany stanowiska w sprawie pana zatrudnienia. Pozdrawiam pana go. Jeszcze kawałek. O.
String, security, peace of mind. Tacky.
Well, you know, that's your opinion, good sir.
Tu jest łazienka. Idziemy do gabinetu. O kurde. Zdjęcie. Co tu się wydarzyło? Bym się rozejrzała. Nie ma tu czegoś podejrzanego. Ale nic chyba nie mogę sprawdzić. Chodzę w dół. A tutaj jest jeszcze inne pomieszczenie. Tutaj nie mogę, bo nie mam klucza. Ale tu będzie chyba klucz. Koperta. List od prawnika Signor Capello. Zostałem poinformowany, że Nicole Detti wkrótce wróci do Cordony. Nie wiem, co to oznacza dla przyszłości rodziny Dettich, ale Oranzie uparcie pragnie zostać w Rzymie, więc proszę to odczytać, jak pan sobie życzy. Chciałbym w imieniu całej rodziny mocno zasugerować, by unikał pan kontaktu z Nicolo. Nie mam wątpliwości co do tego, że pozostanie pan spokojny nawet w przypadku prowokacji, ale nie wiemy, co planuje rodzina Dettich. Proszę być czujnym. Stawka w tej grze jest reputacja całej rodziny. Rozumiem. Terminarz Basila Coppello. Terminarz zawiera harmonogram Belisa Coppello zaplanowany na następnych kilka tygodni. Zawiera kilka istotnych wpisów. Po pierwsze spotkanie z detektywem sprzed kilku tygodni, a po drugie 2 daty oznaczone save z wczoraj i dziś.
He clearly needs a better work-life balance.
Dziedzic rodziny Detti wraca do domu. Niccolo Detti, młody dziedzic rodzinnego przedsiębiorstwa rodziny Detti, wrócił do Cordony po 12 latach nauki i pracy na kontynencie. Jego przybycie pokrywa się z wyjazdem Orizo Dettiego do Włoch. To wskazuje, że Nicole ma być może zamiar przejąć pieczę nad rodzinnym interesem w Cordonie. Mamy zamiar uważnie śledzić rozwój sytuacji i spróbujemy także poprosić Basilio Coppello o komentarz w tej sprawie. Spór pomiędzy przedstawicielami rodziny Coppello oraz Detti trwał już ponad 9 lat i pomimo tego, że cała ta zgryźliwość nieco się uspokoiła w przeciągu kilku ostatnich dekad, a niektórzy nadal pamiętają konflikty z ery Gonzalo Dettiego oraz Vittorio Coppello. Mamy nadzieję, że młody umysł Nicola oraz spokojne, przedsiębiorcze podejście Basilo doprowadzi do zgody.
Well-organized workplace?
Mr. Capello is the best.
A concert program from 7 years ago. An Augusta La Duca is listed as a harpist in the orchestra. 2 theatre tickets for Shakespeare's Othello. The performance is tomorrow.
Have to respect the classics.
Co to może jeszcze być? Nie widzę. A to. Wiadomość Basilio do Augusty. Augusto, nie będziemy mieć dzisiaj czasu na pogawędkę z powodu ważnego spotkania z klientem. Martwi mnie jednak twój chęć pracy w tak późnych godzinach. Wydawało mi się, że czyni cię to szczęśliwą, dlatego nie rozmawialiśmy na ten temat wcześniej, ale być może lepiej by było, gdybyśmy porozmawiali. Jestem pewien, że możemy ustalić coś inaczej, Basilio. Ktoś tu pracował wieczorami. Te klucze były do tego? Tak. Te nudy. O,
Letter
to
F is
fąfanie.
inscribed within a four-leaf clover pattern. Passe-muraille. Walk through walls in French. Our thief seems rather arrogant. A comprehensive set of lockpicks, recently cleaned, with no fresh scratches.
Masz Battlefield 5? Nie. Nie posiadam.
Do you know what this note might be about?
I cannot presume to know another's mind, of course, but
Ah.
I think Mr. and Mrs. Capello have been having some familial difficulties, probably due to their lack of children. One of my oldest friends helps couples with their relationship troubles, and he always says,
You don't have to continue.
oh, well, he says that to me as well, but I'm perfectly happy to.
No, I insist.
I don't know.
Do you know anything about these entries?
No, but Mr. Capello is so well organised. I use a different method, very popular among the Buddhist monks. You create an attic in your mind and...
I'm familiar. Keep it tidy, put only necessary information in, remove unnecessary information regularly.
What? No, it's called an attic. You just stuff it with everything. You never know what might prove helpful someday.
That is profoundly upsetting.
I know of it, but forgot. Probably Mr. Capello's. Police took him so suddenly. I have the same set, but it's more efficient. Has fewer keys.
So you don't have access to the entire office?
No. Only Mr. and Mrs. Capello have the key to the back door.
Is this code memo still valid?
Oh yes, it's the same combination code everywhere. It corresponds to Mrs. Capello's birthday, actually. In fact, during this year's celebration, I was allowed a sip of champagne. That's when I had to dry my trousers, and then I had to...
Okay, thank you, Billy.
I don't know.
Have you noticed anything different about Mrs. Capello recently?
Not really. She talks to me more when I start my shift. Probably because of the 100 Best Curry Recipes book I'm reading. Oh, and we've been running out of paper a lot lately, so she often sends me out to buy more for her. She's very particular about the paper we use. Only one store on the island stocks it, and it's on the other side of the town. But I'm really fast.
Interesting, thank you.
I know of it, but forgot.
What can you tell me about Mr. Capello?
He's a good employer, but very focused on work, and very serious about security, of course, since he employed a night watch of my caliber. Not everyone appreciates his strict business approach, though. Store clerks don't seem to last long in the office.
Good to know.
I'm going to catch the criminal myself. But later.
W ogóle jak mamy te klucze, to możemy dostać się wszędzie. O, tu coś jeszcze jest.
The bottle is half empty.
Butelka jest pusta.
A wine, well enjoyed.
Drugi?
Recently used, but why would it be here? Clear indications of blunt trauma, possibly inflicted before the victim was in the safe. Bulging veins, cyanosis, bloodshot eyes, odd foaming in the mouth. Bruises, torn nails, bleeding was severe and continued at length. Blood on the safe door could have been left by the victim. Clothes are not fully buttoned. Was the victim dressing or undressing? What a rotten way to die.
Na kluczowe dowody.
Oh, why do I get the worst jobs?
No tylko kluczowe, ja chcę zebrać wszystkie.
Do you know anything else about the dead body in the safe?
Well, there is the rule of threes. You can survive 3 weeks without food, 3 days without water, 3 hours in harsh weather, and 3 minutes
Of you talking?
without air. I'm sorry, did you say something?
No, very enlightening, Mr. Lloyd, thank you.
I'm gonna catch the criminal myself.
Analiza. -8. 10. Powinno zadziałać. zrobić identycznie. Prawie. Będzie idealnie. Sukces.
But later.
Zebrano wszystkie dowody.
Would you like to report a crime?
Mm. Hmm. Akta Felicji Sevignan. Felicja Sevignan, lat 26, obecnie związana z gangiem chłopców z podwórza. Ich kryjówka znajduje się przy Elliot Street w centralnej części Minute End. Ma na prawym policzku charakterystyczną bliznę. Opowiada różne historie co do tego, jak ją otrzymała, ale blizna szczyci się przynajmniej od 18 roku życia. Po tym, jak jej rodzice zginęli na morzu, a ona przypomniała ich majątek, policja zajęła się działalnością przestępczą. Była aresztowana kilka razy, ale współpracowała z wymiarem sprawiedliwości, co poskutkowało zmniejszeniem jej kary. Co tu jest? On sugeruje, by stawić tam, gdzie często spotykają się chłopcy z podwórza.
Maybe it would be wise to take a look around outside before we enter. Just a thought.
Coś tak. Idziemy. Dobra.
Other gangs are planning an attack on the backyard, boys.
Dowiedz się, jakich informacji chce Pip i gdzie można go znaleźć. Nic mi nie pije. Ja was nie potrzebuję.
Other gangs are planning. Other gangs are planning it.
Aha, czyli coś. Byłam.
Other gangs are planning it.
Znowu pominę.
Other gangs are planning it.
Czegoś.
Other gangs are planning it.
Życzenie szeregów gangu. On miał rację. Chłopcy z podwórza wydają się mobilizować do działania z powodu nieudanego włamania do zbrojowni Coppello prowadzonego przez Felicję Swingię. Uważa, że ta porażka jest wynikiem projekt ze strony innego gangu, który chce im zaatakować. Podsłuchałem jednak, że piwek kulowy handlarz informacyjny wezwał swoich informatorów żebraków. Można go znaleźć na rynku w centralnej części Miner and A to nie. Braka teraz. Dobra, pierw znajdziemy to miejsce.
Hi there. Oh, so many coming and going all the time.
Excuse me, just one question.
Why don't you go and ask your police officer friends?
Kolegów policjantów. Ja nie mam kolegów w policji.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
No, sorry. I know nothing.
How do you do?
I'm hungry.
May I ask you something?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Oh, I'm sorry, but I don't know anything. clothes will be worn well, take my word.
The best the flea markets can offer.
Hello, mister. I've got some information for you. Heard you were asking.
Have you now? Well, let's hear it.
So the bandits, right? Not coming. Bigger fish to fry, they say. Bigger worries.
Interesting. Are you absolutely sure?
Heard it with my own ears. Lord is my witness.
Oh, good. Here you go. Buy yourself something nice. Might I suggest soap?
Mydło.
Oh,
Śmiercimy.
thank you, mister. Thank you. What a simpleton.
Supposed to be Philip from London.
Nie wiem po co to zrobiłam, ale to było trudne.
Good impression.
The best
Robiłam.
the flea markets can offer.
Buy some clothes and help me feed my...
Zajmę się znowu policjantem.
family. Our clothes will be worn well, take my word. Extra! Extra!
Are you able to help me?
I know nothing about this business, and even if I did, I'd never talk to the coppers.
Oj tam, oj tam. Strzelamy. Udało się.
I'm coming for you.
Jeden.
Take a rest, my friend. Good day.
I couldn't miss the party.
Drugi.
Don't cry.
The snuff's ready. You can overcome the brute now.
I'm coming.
Trzeci.
Don't bother.
Give him the pepper snuff.
I will end you. Eat lead. I'm coming
Czwarty.
for you.
No more crime.
The snuff's ready. It's all yours now. Go for it.
5.
I couldn't miss the party.
Don't bother moving.
You give him the pepper snuff.
I'm coming. I couldn't miss the party. I'm coming for you.
Tak szybciej.
Take a rest.
Pomyliłam się?
I couldn't miss the party.
Too simple.
The snuff's ready.
Wszyscy złapani? Nie.
I thought we were against murder.
Zabiłam go.
Okay, I give up.
Oddaj. Dlaczego on napisał nas? Staruś właśnie kogoś zabił. Szkoda, że nie potrafi czytać mu myśli, co mu teraz chodzi po głowie. Czy żałuje swoich czynów? Nie.
And here we are, Miss Sevigny. A place where we can talk about all your recent activities. We have a nice profile on you, you know.
What are you talking about? I didn't do anything.
Is there nothing you didn't do, Miss Sevigny? Thieve for the gang, break into the Armor Capello office, kill Niccolo Detti?
What? Kill? I didn't kill nobody. No, how?
So you admit the rest. I suppose you won't mind explaining some things to me then.
Medalion. Porne ubranie. Darty. Nagawka. Felicja Sevigan to włamywaczka i złodziejka we wieku około 25 lat. Na jej podartych nagawkach widać ślady pazurów po niezdarnej ucieczce z miejsca zbrodni. W zbrojowni Capello ma przy sobie sekretnik, w którym ukryty jest gotowa dyskretnie się ulotnić, jeśli choć mały szczegół pojawi nie tak. Tak jakby jej tam nigdy nie było. Jest dumna ze swoich fachów, jak pokazuje to, ale tylko tym obserwatorom. Gotowana.
You were in the Armor Capello office yesterday evening, Miss Sevigny. The same place that Niccolo Detti was found dead today. What happened?
How would you know? You can't prove anything?
It's written all over you, Miss Sevigny. I presume you did not intend your evening to end with a fall over the railing and a fracas with felines? Need I continue?
Zut alors!
It was just a job, nothing else. I was asked to come. Here, see for yourself. I don't know who hired me, but I think they wanted to pin the crime on me. Poor Niccolo.
When were you offered this job?
Ah, mon Dieu. I don't remember precisely. I think the letter arrived around 9:30 in the evening. It sounded tricky, but the money was good.
And you arrived at the office?
Perhaps 45 minutes later? I am very good, sir. I was in and out in 5 minutes.
I don't like lies.
No, wait. Okay. It took 15 minutes. All right? Still impressive, no?
You knew Mr. Detti, how?
Niccolo and I grew up together. I hadn't seen him in years, then ran into him on the street, smiling with some lovely lady on his arm.
And that was the last time you saw him alive?
Wait, until I found him dead yesterday. That same woman was there, too. It can't be coincidence.
You saw a woman in the office?
Mm-hmm. She started screaming, so I slammed the safe door and ran when I saw a guard coming.
Your thieving days may well be over, Miss Sevigny. Until this matter is resolved, you will remain here. Good day.
I didn't do a thing.
Oh, what a long day.
Another question? Another question? Not a whit. The woman is a liar and a criminal. I don't give it the slightest credence, and neither should you. Another question? I'm afraid I have nothing to add to this. Not much to say. I'm sorry. I'm afraid I have nothing to add to this. I'm afraid I have nothing to add to this. I'm afraid I have nothing to add to this. How is that relevant, young man?
Please, I need a complete picture of all the parties involved. Consider, perhaps, the possibility that the burglar was targeting your wife.
It seems unlikely, though if a Detti was out to threaten my wife... We met 7 years ago. Augusta was a harpist with an Italian orchestra. The passion in her eyes back then. I am glad she still has some of it now.
And you and your wife get along well?
I love her most dearly, and I know Augusta loves me. I fear someday she may be bored at work, but I try to give her all she wants.
Is this note still valid?
Oh yes, we use this code by default for each safe. Now sometimes a buyer may ask to see how it can be changed, but I always reset it afterwards.
And the safe containing the body used the default code, I presume?
As it happens, no. In my demonstration, I wanted to show the bank clerks how easy it was to set a different combination.
Interesting. Thank you.
Another question? Another question?
What was your intent behind this note?
This is private, young man, and hardly relevant.
Its relevance, as it were, remains to be seen.
My wife Augusta joined me in business half a year ago, but works late hours. I worry because I love her. What else do you need to know?
I appreciate your candor. I'm interested in some entries in your diary that may prove important. Could you elaborate on these ones here?
Bene. I won't name the detective, but rest assured that is unrelated to the investigation. It is just one of our clients. And those safe entries are about an interested party who was going to purchase the product. We met yesterday, and today were to finalize the transaction. Alas, that opportunity is no more.
You've been a good help.
Have you learned anything?
Nie w tą stronę. Tu? Tu.
What exactly was your relationship with Niccolo Detti?
Who? What are you talking about?
Madam, please, a young woman dedicated to her music and an enthusiastic artist. Your marriage to Basilio could not have offered all you needed. And then about 6 months ago, you met Niccolo Detti. There was a spark, you started to see each other. It brought passion back into your life.
How could you?
But your tryst didn't go unnoticed. Felicia Sevigny spotted you with Niccolo, but rather than cease your affair, you took care to avoid the public eye. You started working with your husband at the office and met your lover there in the evening after Basilio departed. Billy would not notice, and you hoped neither would your husband. Do I have this right so far?
Yes. I love Basilio, I truly do. But his first passion is his work. I respect that, but it left me adrift. Niccolo. Oh, sweet Niccolo. He was the man I needed. If he had had any other name, I would have talked to Basilio. But he was a Detti.
And your husband
Moi.
I think he did. He asked questions. Billy's schedule was moved forwards. Yes, he suspected.
And thus we arrive at the heart of the matter. How did Mr. Detti end up deceased in the safe?
I do not know.
Madam?
I don't know anything about his death.
Are you sure this is how you wish to proceed?
It is the truth. Please, just leave me be.
Apologies, Mrs. Capello, but I must go.
Co to zrobił? Było dziwne, jeżeli by go zabiło. No, to też nie wygląda na to, co zrobiło.
What a long day.
To zabił zazdrości.
Were you aware of this, Mr. Capello? Of the relationship between your wife and Niccolo Detti?
Enough! I will not hear it. Augusta is an impressionable woman feeling the stress of this horrible situation. She does not understand what she's saying.
I see. So, you think...
I think that if you want to help, you should stop bothering my wife and find the criminal responsible.
I will return.
Mi już nic więcej nie powie. Była w tej celi tu. Już nie możemy pogadać. Woda. Chcę ich oskarżyć.
Apologies, Mrs. Capello, but I must go.
Ale... Jeszcze chciałabym porozmawiać z jedną osobą. Czegoś mi w tej sprawie brakuje.
I don't know. Oh, actually, no. Oh, actually, no. I know of it, but forgot. Oh, actually, no.
Could this be the burglar you saw yesterday?
That's her. So what's our plan? How do we get her? If you can afford to give me 20 minutes, my uncle has a large net.
Yes, a net. I'll go and get one now, Billy, and you stay to guard the office.
I'm going to catch the criminal myself. But later. I'm going to catch the criminal myself. But later.
Ej, nie chcesz turpie ze mną pogadać? Czy ty? Nie.
Oh, why do I get the worst jobs?
Trup nie chce z nami gadać, więc to nie wiem. Nie wiem, czy mogę co innego zrobić niż go oskarżyć o morderstwo.
Apologies, Mrs. Capello, but I must go.
Oh, what a long day.
I will return. Could you help me?
Unfortunately, my casebook is empty on this.
Kto może nam to powiedzieć? Nikt.
I will return.
Ale ten na przykład nie możemy obbić. To było pewne, że ona...
Oh, what a long day.
Zabić swojego kochanka, czy...
I believe that I have found the truth, Mr. Capello, and that truth does not show you in a good light.
And here I thought I had found a bright mind. Why would I need to kill Niccolo Detti?
It's simple. You knew about Niccolo and Augusta. You loved her, and the Detti and Capello conflict is well known. You had to protect your family's reputation.
Ha! Any simpleton can find reasons for me to dislike a deity, though it takes a special kind to concoct an imaginary dalliance, too. How do you believe I killed him? Just threw him in the safe?
Hmm.
That could have sufficed. Niccolo may have been unconscious, and you admitted you had full access to your office for most of the day. Or you could have changed the code during the day, then arrived unannounced in the evening to leave him nowhere better to hide.
And why on earth would I do that?
To get rid of a Detti? To force a confrontation with your wife? Either seems entirely plausible.
To you, perhaps, but how would I even know when to do the deed, huh?
You planned this. Billy's time of work was changed, you met with detectives, you planned when it would happen to the minute.
Co minuty.
How very convenient. Except the detective was my client, and I moved Billy's shift because I was worried about
A
Augusta.
co tam powiesz ciekawego? Nie
Young
wiem.
man, if your mind were applied to something useful, you could truly be something.
The game is over, Mr. Capello, and today you lost.
You may think so, but just wait until my lawyer arrives. The police might see things differently.
Perhaps, but the truth is the truth. My work here is done. Good day, sir.
I don't get your decision. We did all that work, and in the end, nothing about this case changed.
Czemu nie rozumiesz mojej decyzji? Oj tam, oj tam.
What a long day. What a long day.
Właśnie sobie włączyłem Red Dead Redemption Online i pierwszy raz z ciekawości jest dziwnie. Nie wiem. Ja nic nie wiem. Teczka. Możemy robić już sprawę. Nie wiem, bo dzisiaj sprzątałam dużo i tak jakoś... Jeszcze coś do tego było. Nie tu. Zaproszenie od Wogla. Drogi Holmes, czekam na pana w posiadłości Kurtan. Mając przy turkuoz. Naprzeciwko budynku opactwa północnej części. Garnet starny. Proszę przybyć od razu, a jeśli pan nie jest w stanie, też proszę przyjść. Pański przyjaciel na zawsze. VV. Taki przyjaciel na zawsze, że ja nie wiem, kto to jest. Chyba dobrze myślę, że myślę. Za granicą. Tutaj. Chyba nie, to będzie tu. To sprzątanie jest najgorsze. No, trochę. Ale trzeba sprzątać, tym bardziej, że wkrótce są święta, to trzeba było tak bardziej posprzątać niektóre rzeczy i tak jakoś. Co? Ja to nie wiem, gdzie ja mam iść w sumie. O, kryjówkę będę tu znalazłam. Chyba nie o to mi chodziło. Chyba, że o to chodzi, o pac. Idziemy do kościoła. Mamy idealny strój do kościoła. Co to za upiór? Taki strój mi dali do tej misji, bo pamiętam, że to dawali i nie mam pojęcia po co mi on, ale śmiesznie. Gdzie idę? Jak się tam dostać? A to ma sens, żeby iść po tych schodach, dobra. Dobra, trzeba iść po schodach. I nie da tam dostać. Ja naprawdę nie wiem, gdzie ja mam iść. Jednocześnie wiem, a jednocześnie nie. Jakieś opłactwa mam dostać. To miejsce bardzo interesujące. Książę ciemności. To mnie. Wiem sobie. Więc jesteśmy księciem ciemności. Nie. Jędyk. O. To jest więcej takich ludzi. Mają maski. Brzmi mrocznie. Może. Ale te maski nie wyglądają mrocznie. To wchodzimy.
Welcome, sir. I do hope you
To ma jakieś złote.
Enjoy the evening, sir. There is still plenty of time before the grand finale.
All right.
Czy tam pianista miał czerwoną paskę? O kurde. Aha. Jak ubrana. Ja
What
nadal
if I write an article about these people here? Can you help me gather information about Cordona's... elite? My goodness, Sherlock. They made a blood fountain.
No, John, it's definitely not blood, just wine. The whores are to guess.
Dobrze, że będzie wymyślonym przyjacielem. Bo muszę znaleźć jakieś plotki. O, jaki ładny obrazek. Odkryj prawdę o skandalu dotyczącym ujawnienia tożsamości. Oszukiwanie ludzi. żółta prasa. Ludzie rozmawiają o skandalu z poprzedniego przyjęcia, więc gubernator Covenden został przyłapany przez swoją przyszłą małżonkę, pruską księżną. I jak ci się podoba gierka? Fajnie. Ja lubię Sherlocka, lubię ten klimat. Pruską księżną w towarzystwie młodych mężczyzn. Mimo iż małżeństwo to miało mieć charakter polityczny, uczucia księżnej były prawdziwe. Incydent ten doprowadził do politycznego kryzysu pomiędzy Kordoną a Prusami. Pomimo kilku głosów sprzeciwu, gubernator zwolnił ze stanowiska swojego protegowanego.
That's what I like about this party. Bring me more dirt, Sherry. One more piece, and I can expose these base hedonists.
O czym się dotkuje? Mamy plotek. To jest ważne.
Do you know what was here before Manchiosa's family bought it?
Poznaj niepokojącą historię posiadłości. Tajemnicze zniknięcia. Aukcja. Drugie wino? Dom przod... Krągi magiczne. Żółta prasa. Poprzedni właściciel obecnej posiadłości Mankinsów był architektem, okultysta. Poświęcił on swoje życie, wykonując potężnego rytuału zapisanego w zapomnianym tomie, ale zwykłe kręgi magiczne okazały się do tego celu zbyt słabe. Dlatego właśnie zbudował on tę posiadłość. Bystre oko dostrzeże, że jej kształty odpowiadają pewnym magicznym symbolom, a niektóre ze ścian mają ubytki. Pewnego dnia architekt po prostu zniknął. Na podłodze został tylko kupa popiołu. Być może jego rytuał w końcu się udał.
I'll pin them down with this scoop. Thank you, Sherlock.
O, mamy wszystkie plotki. Były tylko dwie. Mamy z kimś pogadać.
And you still need a crack despite being ethereal.
Ale z kim? I gdzie?
Codex Orchis. Why does this occult book sound like a flower? Romantic poetry and prose. So these medieval botany and chemistry books look even more satanic than the occult ones.
Do książek.
One of these books must open
well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends. Well-known and recent plays to keep up to date with the current trends.
O, tu.
Sherlock! Friend! I wasn't sure you'd come.
Werner, I see you are not yourself.
The more time you spend here in Cordona, the more I feel it my duty to bring you into our world and show you all we have to offer.
And what is on offer today?
Pleasure, indulgence, relief, and relaxation. You've earned some time for yourself, have you not?
Those who know me would say I'm incapable of it.
Nonsense. I refuse to believe there is anyone permitted to know Sherlock Holmes.
You may be right.
Then free yourself from inhibition and expectation. The night is young, and so are the guests. You should try to enjoy both. It's not healthy for handsome men to spend every night alone, and certainly not in a house filled with such melancholic memories.
I must admit, my travels have proven more taxing than expected. I'm less confident in my life and myself. Time of relaxation seems a distant dream.
So can I tempt you with a physical aid to your moral consolations? There's wine, of course, and something to smoke, or perhaps an artificial paradise? Yes, something more spiritual. A potentiator to sharpen the mind. A 7% solution of, well, that'd be telling, but you must try it.
Było niezręczne. Nie ma sensu.
My mind is my most valuable asset, and a finely tuned instrument. I will not risk impeding its function. My ultimate duty is to provide the world with truth, and I do that perfectly well as is.
Duty? You've never cared about that before.
Of course I do. Exposing a lie, revealing a fact, that is a moral responsibility.
That's not morality. Morals are what happens afterwards when truth collides with consequence. Do you ever follow up on cases you solved? Do you ever see what happened next? Visit the victims? Ensure justice is served in the courts? And how do you choose where to direct your attention? Are there not deserving causes to which your brilliance could be applied but isn't?
You ascribe me more power than I possess. I have a narrow skill set and work within that mandate. What occurs afterward is irrelevant.
With every action or inaction, you place a finger on the scales of morality. Many in the city would see you as abdicating a responsibility.
I haven't.
Not me, of course. Morality is subjective, just like truth. There is little to be gained from indulging in it, and far better things to indulge in. Now I must insist on easing any burdens I've placed upon your shoulders. Show yourself a kindness, and try this rather delectable concoction.
Wolałbym próbkę do badań.
If this solution truly does assist with thinking, then perhaps it would be puerile to overlook an opportunity to study it. I'll take it with me.
Yes, Sherlock. Very good. And now, our evening begins in earnest. I just remembered. I'm sorry, Sherlock. My mind's delightfully impaired. Please take this key. It opens the altar room, past the library.
Pardon? Altar room? What now, Werner?
Go quickly and find our Fabio. Only you can make him talk. I'll join you in a minute.
Sorry, że tak wprost się spytam, ale masz jakiś problem z czytaniem? Może trochę. No, ten koleś tu umie się zabawić na pewno. Ale ci ludzie są ciekawie poubierani. Już do pokoju z ołtarzem.
My God. Was he here this whole time?
Chyba tak trochę nie żyje. Ale tak tylko troszeczkę.
This elaborate box must be for the ritual dagger.
Tam raz.
The herbs here are Salvia divinorum. They have a slight hallucinogenic effect to emphasize the ceremony. The ointment smells mouse-like. This oil has a slight aroma of flowers and olive.
Ja mam najlepszą teorię. Popełnił samobójstwo. Ale pewnie
The sign reminds me of the
ale byłoby śmiesznie.
astrological symbol for Mars.
Martwy nie za dużo, nie za mało. Jak wyprawiał jakieś rytuały, to może nie jest całkiem martwy.
This one looks like a twisted symbol of Venus, drawn in a hurry.
W ogóle to jest... O, takie lipne. Co jest?
An open wound spoiled the carpet. Enough cigars to burn down the entire mansion.
Cigaro.
Why don't people tidy up after themselves?
Być. Nie widzę. O, felka.
Blood. A sturdy bottle met a not so sturdy human. It didn't break only because it was unopened.
Drzwi. Brakuje stroju.
Identical to the robes the guests are wearing. The pitcher is empty, but with puddles around it. Blood clots are adhered to the sides of the drain.
Obmywał z krwi. No, ktoś go zamordował.
Props, decorations, and tools for a more detailed set. Handcrafted and luxurious cufflinks. There's also a note. For my Fabio, Manchos.
Would you recognise me in one of these? I suppose not.
A useful tool for a disguise arsenal. The capital F on the key fob might refer to Fabio. The capital F on the key fob might refer to Fabio. The key is similar to the one that Vogel gave me. This is a different ritual.
Scenariusz rytuału. Znalazłam scenariusz tego rodzaju rytuału z komentarzem zapisanym na początku jego treści. Czytaj i przećwicz ten obrzęd. Okej. Naga kobieta leży na ołtarzu, na łożu. Kwiecień symbolizuje ona matkę Gaję. Ten, kto prowadzi rytuał, naciera jej ciało olejkami, aby obudzić jej wewnętrzną płodność. To ty powiedział naga kobieta. No, płodność chcieli. Uczestnicy powinni w tym momencie rozpocząć śpiewy i wezwać mężczyznę, który zapewni matce Gai przyjemność. Następnie człowiek, który symbolizować będzie zasadę życia, może podejść i rozpocząć z nią stosunek płciowy. Zgłaszam się na ochotnika. Ja tam nie wiem, czy... Bo tam martwy ten typ leżał. Nic do odman. O, nie ignoruj gości. Przestań ich nudzać. Nie chcę słuchać o twoich głupotach. Chcę czuć się pięknie oraz czuć, jak dobrze jesteś w stanie ich traktować. Czy no to z innej perspektywy. Przepraszam, później żadnych zmartwień i tym. Nie chcę słuchać o twoich głupotach. Chcę czuć pięknie oraz czuć, jak dobrze jesteś w stanie ich traktować. Jesteś tu po to, aby zapewnić przyjemność i celebrować życie. Pamiętaj, każdy z gości sporo zapłacił, aby z tobą być. Czy nie chcesz słuchać o moich głupotach? Ja nic nie mówię, że nie chcę. I czemu te drzwi się otworzyły? Jedna w tą stronę, drugą w tą? XD. Wait. Ale... jedno mnie zastanawia. Czy on był... Dobra. To jest... strój.
Similar to the guests' robes, apart from the bloodstains.
Czy się robi kółko?
This golden handle has a bloodstain on it. The dagger is heavy and sharp, but lacks balance. This worm-like sigil has been drawn with his own blood.
Ja mam pytanie, czy na tym przyjęciu wszyscy się z nim kochali, czy co?
This crude tattoo partially covers a slave branding. The victim has clenched the fabric so firmly in his fist that it's nigh impossible to remove it. The wound is deep. A precise strike reached the heart. He died right here. A person leaned against the doorframe. They left a smudged trail of blood. A bloody handprint on an arm. The wounded person was here for some time. There appear to be no further traces leading to the altar. Werner, care to explain what is going on here?
On nights like these, it's not unusual for some attendees to get a little exuberant. It's part of the appeal. Unfortunately, it appears things have gotten out of hand. Yes, some are more prone to bend the rules of morality.
That's murder. I doubt there's anything left to bend. Why did you not tell me immediately? We were chatting about trivial matters for some time.
If I'm completely honest, Sherlock, I've consumed a rather potent cocktail of substances. My attention slips and drifts, but I'm glad I thought to call for you.
You sent me a disguise.
Oh dear, did I? Well, since I found the body, Mr. Manchios has agreed that you can investigate the matter. I promise my mind will behave itself going forward.
All right, pull yourself together, Werner. What is it about these nights that you are so eager to share with me?
Well, they're not always in the evenings, but they are in the shadows. People gather to test their boundaries in a safe and consensual atmosphere, often with more stains than your typical crime scene. But that is the point. Who are we to judge?
I suppose that's fair. What about today, then? Was anything different?
Well, I was invited as a special guest. It was supposed to be a time of both divine and carnal pleasures. A scratch for every unconventional itch.
I imagine you're reeling from your shattered expectations.
On the contrary, there is still spectacle, stimulation, and release, merely in a different form. I like to let life entertain me.
Or death. Mr. Manchios is the owner of the manor, yes?
And the host of Cordona's most memorable parties. He promises even the ugliest guest a partner for the night. And for the ones with more unconventional tastes, Mr. Manchios provides other services.
What a caring person.
You cannot begin to imagine.
How did you discover the body? In between guzzles of alcohol?
I was set to perform in a fecundity rite with Fabio and came to inquire further. It was a staged ritual where he was to play the principle of life.
And the rehearsal was unsuccessful?
Huh. Who knows? I found him alone on the altar, his blood dripping to the floor.
And then?
Then I called Mr. Manchios. He was panicking, so I told him about you. We left the room and locked the door. Then we were...
filling time?
Waiting for you was stressful. We indulged in some simple comforts. Overindulged, perhaps.
Were you well acquainted with Fabio, the victim?
Everyone knew Fabio, or wanted to. His beauty was the talk of the island. Too handsome to go unnoticed. He was magnetic. Fat wallets fought for the privilege of having him. He offered the pleasures of performance, and more.
What about the fertility ritual? There was something about Fabio being a principle of life.
Fabio was supposed to portray the beauty of life's origin. Flowers, oil. Not this travesty that seems straight out of the Inquisition.
So this ritual is not the fertility rite. What was it meant to look like?
It begins with a woman lying naked in a flower bed on the altar. She represents Gaia, the earth. As I cover her in oils, we chant for the principle. As our calls reach a climax, Fabio enters and copulates with her. After he finishes, I stab her with a dagger. That part's just pretend, of course.
But the intercourse is not?
I did not expect you to be such a prude. Are you a virgin? It is nothing to be ashamed of, but it would explain the color of your cheeks. The fertility rite marks the start of our festivities. The principle of life is beautiful, intimate, essential. It must not be stopped.
Yet it appears that someone did stop it. What about the naked woman? Can you tell me anything about her?
Oh yes, Matista. She's one of Fabio's compatriots and a performer too. I haven't seen her today, actually.
When you discovered the body, was the door open?
No, it was locked. Oh, that reminds me. It's a minor detail, but the first time I came to speak to Fabio, I left without entering, having been unable to open the door.
You didn't have the key?
No, I had it. Don't look at me like that. I was mostly sober. I suspect there was a key in the other side of the door, blocking the lock.
That detail may very well be major, Werner. Well done. So you returned later, only to find the lock was not blocked?
Correct. After an hour had passed, I tried again and was able to unlock the door. That's when I discovered poor, handsome Fabio.
The police remain unaware of this tragic event?
Some of them may be hiding behind their masks. They conceal many things. But we didn't want the authorities to create more problems. Besides, after a few cocktails, their incompetence will have soared to new heights.
How do you know I even want the case?
I promised you relaxation. If there's one thing I know about you, Sherlock, it's that nothing soothes you more than a good mystery.
So, Sherry, do you have any ideas about the case?
Perhaps, but... Perhaps. I think I can deduce what happened here.
Sprawdźmy, co tu się mogło wydarzyć. Ktoś poszedł tędy. Tak? Dobrze.
The bottle was used as a weapon during a scuffle in the smoking lounge. Then, to ensure no one would interrupt, the murderer locked the door. The unconscious body of the victim was moved to the altar room. Once the body was on the altar, the murderer thrust the dagger into the victim's heart. Symbols were drawn with the blood. The wardrobe was used to hide the bloodied robe from anyone's eyes. The killer washed himself and took a clean robe from the hanger before leaving.
Are you all right? You're on the floor, not moving.
I think I know what happened here. I'm starting to put the pieces together.
Fabio was stabbed.
I see nothing gets past you, Werner. Yes, he was stabbed, but only after being knocked out in the next room and placed here. I do not yet know why.
So, who's responsible?
Well, it was one person working alone, and the murderer has now donned a robe. He or she could be hiding in plain sight. We have lost time, Werner, but your discretion may prove to be a benediction after all.
Fabio podał ofiarą rytualnego. Fabio został złożony w ofierze na ołtarzu podczas krywką. Rytuał został uporządkowany jedynie przykrywkę dla prawdziwego motywu mordercy. Nie wiem na razie. Ale tak też może być.
The murderer had to have access to this room. After the crime, he used his own key to lock the door. So, who had the key to the altar?
I'm not sure. As a special guest, I was provided one by Mr. Manchios. He should be able to tell you of any others.
Where can I find him?
Most likely in the main hall, entertaining his guests. He has a mask with golden stars. You can't miss him. But please be discreet. We don't want to risk disturbing the revelry. I know you can untangle this mess.
Czyli szukamy dalej. Gwiazdki. Maska z gwiazd. Na górę nie można, tu nie można. Tutaj też nikogo nie ma. I tu też nie. Mamy gościa z maską gwiazd. Coś będzie. Nie, nie ma. Też nie. Złote gwiazd. Mają identyczne maski.
Kurt Manchios, I presume? I'm Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, you must be the one Werner told me about. What a sweet voice you have. It must belong to a handsome young man. Can I call you Sherlock?
As you wish, Mr. Manchios. Mr. Vogel asked me to help you. The body in the altar room requires answers, and quickly. I suspect the murderer to still be here.
What? Lower your voice. I don't want anyone to hear us.
Did you know Fabio well?
People are starting to look at us, Sherlock. Change the subject. I can't believe what happened to him. To me. Such an atrocity. Think what it means for me. A wonderful evening for so many good, influential, and rich people has been ruined. I have betrayed all my promises of exotic delights.
I don't understand. Surely a murder would affect your reputation to a greater extent.
Please, isn't this why
4 osoby.
I thought
Ja
you
nie
were
wiem,
a
kto tu
silent
siedzi.
magician. Do your tricks and make it go away.
I need to find all those who had the key to the altar room. As far as I know, Mr. Vogel, Fabio, and you had access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes. Also,
Jej moje ego.
Santos? Who is that?
Santos Pinchetti, my major domo, in his opinion at least.
I'd like to speak to Mr. Pinchetti and Matista. Do you have somewhere I might have a private conversation with them?
Of course, of course. Let me think. Matista is entertaining the guests somewhere, and Santos... Oh, yes. He will be busy with the servants. Or the cook. What's that noise? What's going on?
O kurczę.
Freeze, filth. You're under arrest.
Policja. Czemu nagle tu jest tyle policji, która nie jest policją? Co się tu Jest policja w końcu czy nie? Bo je... Ale muzyka. Aresztowali nas.
Committed a crime, and now I have to free you, kiss your hand, and apologize for the inconvenience, Your Grace.
I did tell you that Mr. Vogel and I were innocent. I emphasized it in my statement.
Your statement? Thanks to some bigwigs who work for the so-called good of the country by releasing fleas like you. Thank God we had Vogel in his letter. Once I get to that goldfish, I'll...
Bigwig? Oh, my wretched brother Mycroft and his long nose.
Wait, did you say Mycroft? Mycroft Holmes? Are you the youngest son of Violet Holmes, rest her soul?
You knew my mother?
Not personally, no. Not exactly. I was working on the paperwork for that case.
Would you happen to remember anything of the events?
Well,
Można
I
to
didn't make the
powiedzieć.
inquiry, but I remember seeing some notes. Why?
You must help me. It would mean a great deal to me if you could find any information about that day.
Huh. Got you hooked, right? You know what? Stark and the others think they're the smartest here, thanks to you. Let me get this straight. Are you listening to me, lad?
I'm all ears.
Take this case. Report to me only, to Constable Harvey Oswald. I'll leave everything I have on this table. Find the murderer. Be a real copper. Question the suspects, make them sing, give me something substantial.
And if Mr. Vogel is not a suspect?
If he's innocent, then you can take your favourite degenerate away from here. If you slip or mess with the evidence, then trust me, your brother won't save you from my bludgeon. Meanwhile, I'll be checking the archive for you. If anybody asks, then you're a consulting detective.
Let's make a start then, partner.
I'm glad we managed to get the scoop before the raid. Look, I found Werner.
Bardzo interesująco. Ale myślę, że dziś sobie na tym skończymy. Dziękuję wszystkim za obecność i